And I have been in the council. I've been serving in the council, the governing council, before the president dissolved the council. So I have seen it all. So what I'm trying to say is this: so many students will come to you, but one thing is that we are often very careful with what students tell us. And that is why in our college, we don't have a policy as such. Rather, we have what we call the disciplinary committee. So when such issues come, like let me narrate this issue to you. Sometime in 2020, I don't want to mention his name. We had a case in council, 2020, 2021. There was a case that came to the governing council about a lecturer who harassed 7 students sexually, you know, to the extent that he unleashed his English dogs on some of those students who came to his house, you know. But the dean of their faculty reported that matter to management, and management didn't take it easy. Management set up a committee. The disciplinary committee worked very hard, submitted their report to management. Management submitted their report. Management looked at it, set up another committee, submitted that report to the A&P of council, of which I was a member then, Appointment and Promotions Committee, that is in charge of hiring and firing of staff. So we looked at that matter very well. Then we consulted the conditions of service of federal colleges. And you notice that in the conditions of service, sexual harassment falls under what we call serious misconduct that warrants dismissal. And I must tell you that the management, the council was very clear. The A&P recommended outright dismissal. But you see, the moment you confirm a staff in a higher institution, you can't just wake up and dismiss that person. You must follow all the laid down procedures to make sure that the person wouldn't defeat you in court when he goes to court. So the management did a thorough job, and the council did a thorough job also. First of all, he was queried. He replied his query, and then he was interdicted. Usually when you're queried in matters of sexual harassment, as soon as you reply, you give a reply to your query, you are interdicted. Interdiction means you should not be seen around the institution. And then after that, his salary was stopped. And then the matter finally came to council, and council dismissed him outrightly. But before dismissing him, we wrote to the different places where the young man worked before coming to Alvan. And we got the reports, married it with what we have, looked at the conditions of service on the punishment for gross misconduct before we dismissed the staff. So what I'm trying to say is this. Yes. So what I'm trying to say is this.
I mean, that's good. Thank you for sharing that particular experience. I'm
Yes.
sure you probably have lots of experiences to share around this sexual harassment. Professor Emenalo, in the many years of your work as a university professor, have students come to you to complain, to report, to talk about sexual harassment? And have you handled any case of sexual harassment in the many years? I mean, you can also talk about when you were the Commissioner for Education. I'm sure you must have had loads and loads of these stories or reports from students. Can you share some of them with us? Professor Menalo, unmute yourself and speak. Professor Menalo, unmute yourself and speak. Are you there? We can hear you, Professor Menalo. Unmute yourself and speak. Okay, so while we wait for her to get in, Blessing, what do you think contributes to sexual harassment? Do you think it has to do with the professors, or do you think it has to do with the students?
Okay, sir. So,
Speak a little louder.
State the factors that contribute to sexual harassment in campuses. I identified 3 divides from which these factors come from. So we have the one that comes from the lecturer to students, And for that one, there are many examples online. Even the most recent case in Nanyang University, where some lecturers are currently undergoing investigation for sexual harassment. And then we had other evaluations from students to lecturers. Those are the samples where you hear students themselves now suggesting to lecturers for favors. And then we have the one that exists among students. So when we now, know where this thing is coming from, we can now, adequately identify the factors that contribute to this. So for the ones among students, for instance, a 2021 study, that's the sexual harassment on campus, a study in Nigerian University, which had them OOU as its focal point. You know that